and have some food and have laughs and talk about the movie. And then she can come home, grab her butcher knife, go out, cut somebody's Achilles tendon so they can't get out, and then eat them right there.
Then nothing will drive them away. We can't beat them just for one day. We can be heroes just for one day.
Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Holy smokes. Yesterday, actually, the evening turned out to be really nice. It was cool. So before I went walkies at 7 o'clock, I had my windows open and the fans going, and when I got back, it was nice. So thumbs up for that. It's supposed to be in the low 70s today, so thumbs up for that. A very, very good thing indeed. Yay. Unfortunately, when I woke up this morning, I had a huge cramp on that damn muscle on the inside of my right thigh. Oh, it's been so long since that happened. And it was tough getting dressed at all because any movement in that leg would start to cramp. And it's like, I gotta get dressed somehow. I can't just sit here on the bed. So that was fun. Yay. And of course, hey, front-loading of videos, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you like what you hear and see, if you like what you hear and see as well, and you haven't subscribed, if you could, that'd be very awesome. And hey, if you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and awesome people are, in fact, literally beautiful and awesome. They help to keep me and my pets alive. And little Ghost was up and running around this morning, so he's still doing well. He's still quite soft and fluffy, and that's a very good thing. Hopefully I kept my hands up long enough and not too short or too long. But hey, if you'd like to help me out and help keep me alive, I have a link to my PayPal, my Patreon in the video description. I also have links to a PayPal if you don't want to help me out through the Patreon. And if you don't want to send money, there's an Amazon wishlist link. Thumbs up for that. Yay! And I want to say this one real quick. One of my favorite comments from yesterday with my video where I did a whole bunch of the Cryptid talking yesterday was, "This is unhinged. Why was this recommended to me?" Thumbs up. That, I like that kind of comment. I mean, I prefer comments, from people who understand what's going on and are into what I'm into. But the sort of shocked and horrified comment like that's worth it too. Definitely a thumbs up. So yesterday I had therapy. We talked about a lot of stuff, and yeah, my therapist really thinks that there's no place I could ever go with it aside from doing my own readings here online. But boy, oh boy, he really likes the dramatic type readings that I do, because I told him the cryptid story that I told on the vlog yesterday. And I get into these sort of things, as you see. And so he was like, you really should do dramatic readings. So maybe I will get stories together and then just read them out on my creative channel, and that'll be the story stuff. I don't know, but still, it's fun reading what I get out like that and acting it out. It's enjoyable. But I just thought I'd mention that. One other thing that he does mention, that we're talking about executive dysfunction, because I have executive dysfunction with my ADHD and a whole bunch of other things. And he had a picture that I didn't get a good glimpse at because he had to turn his laptop around to show me. And it was at a bad angle, so I couldn't really see what the picture was. But he said for people with executive dysfunction, it's like trying to interpret this. And it was just a picture of like a random thing. No real pattern defined. And it's like before you can do something, you have to look at this and then figure out what word it spells. And you're left going, and you can't do anything until you figure that out, but nothing on it makes sense. You can't figure it out. So you're stuck trying to get through it. Someone can help you that way, and then you realize, oh, COW, because it all falls into place right then and there. And it clears up, and it's the word cow. But until that moment, it's just a picture of, you don't even understand what the frickin' question is. What does this spell? What? So that's joyous. Yeah, I deal with that all the time, especially when I'm trying to human being with other human beings. So many times I've had a question come to me where it's just, I'm staring at this thing, trying to figure out what the question is, trying to figure out how to interpret this thing, and I can't do anything until I can. So that's joyous and fun. Past that, I didn't do much yesterday. I didn't even really play a whole lot of video games or watch videos. So, but still, I did what I could do after having therapy. This is not a non-typical thing. And I went for walkies, and that was good. And I did some more thinking about the whole cryptid part of the whole story setting that I'm working on. So I want to talk about that, as long as I make sure I don't have anything written on my list of things that happened, because I think I talked about everything that happened yesterday. Yay. But I've been thinking a lot of the whole sociological, cultural changes that are happening, because cryptids in my setting have not had the evolutionary pressures that everything has had in this world. There is massive resource competition. That drives natural selection, which is, evolution. Everything changes in forces because of forces in nature. We've adapted and become what we are because of these forces in nature, but cryptids haven't had to do that. They don't deal with the resource competition. Their world doesn't have that sort of resource competition. Especially the expressed cryptids, human beings whose genes express and they become cryptids, and naturalized children of these cryptids are dealing with the world relative to us. They are adapting to us, not the world. They don't think like us because they haven't had the same pressures that we have had. They are not us. Our world is not their world. Now, take a look on here and keep looking at stuff. Yes, they are more, quote unquote, feral in that they're more instinctive, even though they are intelligent to a large degree, because depending on how strong your vision is, when your third eye opens, your vision clears, and you can see these cryptid things. There is the low-level, low-power cryptid stuff, the mid-power cryptid, and the high-power cryptid. These are basically gods. These are cryptid world that human beings normally can't even see. And then there's the low-power stuff where the cryptids that they live in our world without really being affected by the evolutionary pressures of it. Because they're not made of natural material, they're made of this cryptid energy material. They are not really able to be largely affected by anything that's in this world. There are things that can hurt them. There are people that can make focuses. There are people that have the sight and they can do things, well, the vision. So they can be affected, but 95% of everything out there isn't going to hurt them. You can't hurt them with standard, normal human weaponry, but they're not imperialistic. They're largely mildly tribal, your pack, and then there's individual survival, but that's about all they feel. Now, there's a big sort of cultural thing happening that the cryptids are now dealing with, where there's not a lot of people thinking about it, but those that do are wondering. And that's, what is cultural? What is inside? What is nature? What is nurture? They are always told, every cryptid is told, act within your nature, because if you don't, it doesn't feel good. And if you do, it does. Every cryptid is told this. For tens of thousands of years, that has worked. But just like we and our generations have had to deal with massive changes quickly from the 1850s on with railroads and mass transportation and the huge spike in technology that has left a lot of people with culture shock and future shock, they're dealing with the last 100 years has changed them as well, because even though normally they don't worry about the outside world because there's been nothing there they care about. In the last 100 years, with technology booming, the younger generations are caring. They want cell phones. They want to go to theaters. They like having human friends. They like doing some human things. They're not human. They don't want to be human. They enjoy human culture and things, but they have no desire to be human. They will play at it, like when Polly goes out with friends to a drive-through and they eat at a restaurant. She is more quiet at those points because she doesn't have the cultural touch points, but she enjoys going out and doing these things. This is a big change because for tens of thousands of years, it has just been when you're hungry, eat what's there. When you're thirsty, drink what's there. When you've got to act within your nature, act within your nature. Sleep where you are tired, wake up, do it again. That's what it's been for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years, but this is changing. And even people like Polly's mother, Clausy, where because everything is still adapting, because I'm trying to figure out what this whole world is, it is no longer just an open secret that Clausy's mother killed somebody 20 years back, and that's how she met Polly's father, Alan. No, now it's Alan saw her push the guy off the street corner into the car, so he got hit and killed, and she started to eat the body. He saw her, thought she looked pretty cool, went up, asked if he could join her. She looked up, thought he looked pretty virile and studly. Then they finished off the corpse together, and physical relations there in the street soon afterward. And they kept meeting up and doing so until she started having packs of kids. And 6 years after that, Polly was born. And now, 20 years altogether, she is damn certain that if her parents ate any human beings at all, it might have been one or two when they were young. Her generation, well, in the past 20 years, she's eaten 14 people. And likely in the times to come, she's just going to eat more. That is nothing that her parents could have done. And then her child, Polly, she's a light cryptid, positive light, negative dark, then the neutral / shadowed / gray. Using the positive negative terms is not something they would do. So my creativity was saying, no, that needs to change. So for right now, light, dark, shadow. But Polly is a light cryptid. Parents are light cryptids. Their parents were light cryptids going back. But Polly, Clausy's eaten 14 people in the past 20 years. Polly's eaten more than that this year alone. But she's still a light cryptid. And Polly herself has been having that. So she has a talk with Reginald the first time she decides to experiment and hunts, kills, and eats, kills by eating this one guy, and then comes back and sits on a park bench near Reginald, and they have a talk about this. She's wondering too. She's always been told, act within your nature. Act within your nature. If it feels good to act within your nature, it feels bad to act against your nature. Well, the past year, she's been knifing people to death so that her boyfriend can eat them. Not often. It's only been about 4 or 5 times, but she's never felt bad about that. And then she's always eaten part of the bodies after her boyfriend kills the people that he's eating. He tosses her some, she eats it. The reason she's even talking to Reginald is as an experiment. She decides, can I do that? So she tracks this guy down, walks past Reginald to do so, and then as they go around the corner, she just attacks him and kills him by eating him. And so they have a talk about that. And she's wondering, am I ever going to feel bad about this? I can't imagine that this is in my nature as a light cryptid. I just ate a guy. It felt good. They're delicious. And that's the dichotomy as well, because they are more feral, more wild, more animalistic. They do things without thoughts that would be horrifying. She can go out to a movie with her human friends, wearing a cloaker to bring her presence down so that she appears human. And then they'll go to a restaurant and have some food and have laughs and talk about the movie. And then she can come home, grab her butcher knife, go out, cut somebody's Achilles tendon so they can't get out, and then eat them right there. After all, she just wanted, after going out with friends, she just wanted to try it as an experiment to see what it would be like to eat a human being. No thoughts about it, no second thoughts. It was, oh, there's the idea, let's do it. Would she have done it if it was one of her friends that walked by? I don't know. I'm not Polly. I suspect the answer is, yeah, she would have just done it anyway. She's not human. So they are dealing with this big shift in things, as well as because the cryptids, the new generations, they want cell phones because after they've got people who know things. They can take things to people with vision who work with cryptids. It's like they can hack a phone. They can work on equipment. They can keep things going. They are humans with vision, and they are able to still interface with both worlds. They largely deal with just human stuff, but hey, the cryptids show up every once in a while and say, hey, can you jailbreak this phone for me? You know, it's got blood on it because they ate someone and now they got the phone. But these are not humans, and even though we fit their victim profile, thus, it's natural that we would not like things that eat us because we are in the victim pool. But if you can step out of that mindset, yeah, it would work. You have to be able to step out of the victim pool to be able to look at it with a third person eye. It's not easy. I couldn't do that for decades. Anytime a person got killed, I couldn't see them as any sort of anti-hero or good thing or anything. It's like, you kill a person, that's it. I've become much more nuanced about that as the decades have gone by. Hopefully, my characters I talk about, like Polly and James Bakir, that do have to or choose to kill people, you can still see them as sympathetic characters within their own framework. Even the negative cryptids are largely not evil. And even the evilest ones that do really horrific things, they are adapted to us. Without us, they wouldn't even exist. So they are just acting in their nature after their nature has adapted to us. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me a comment in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language, well. We have Jesse Koskinen. Always good to see you in the comments. And Blunty's good. It's a good thing. The Horror Files, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. There is Karsten Worth, thumbs up and thank you. Blood on Mars, I like that username and thank you very much. There is Ty Bartosek, who's the one that thinks that I'm unhinged. Very, very cool, thank you much. There is Stephen Blanchard, thumbs up, thank you very much. And then we have Yamil, greatly appreciated, and I'm going to do my best, thank you. Ice Damon, thumbs up and thank you. Good to see you. We have Insignificant Nick. Thank you very, very much. Hopefully I'm going to be able to actually do something with it, but if not, the sheer joy of creation has been such a pleasure. And it's cool that other people enjoy it as well. Then we have Ben B, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. Ravinian, greatly appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up. And I try to make them as sympathetic as possible. I don't want my characters, even Polly and Jimmy, to be hated. Yeah, they kill people horrifically, and they devour people bodily so that the only physical proof that they ever existed is blood smears. But they're not evil. they're not human. And that is it. But, oh wait, there is actually Trevor, and thank you. Dakota Gunder, thank you very much. So, son of a gun. They were within 24 hours, but I hadn't noticed that they had. Thank you very much, each and every one of you, all 13. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people. And if you hear the noise of the truck outside, it's garbage day. So there's a garbage truck picking up stuff, and they have very loud brakes. So cool. I'm going to try and get some stuff done today. Hopefully you can get some stuff done today. That would be very, very awesome thing. Definitely a thumbs up on that. If you can't, of course, don't beat yourself up. That won't help. It won't help. It'll only make you feel bad, and it won't make you do it any better the next day. So don't beat yourself up. And of course, with the covfefe bug raging and people dying every day and just diseases everywhere, I mean, even the common cold. Excuse me. Please take appropriate precautions for your situation and area. You don't need to get sick. You don't need to make other people sick. You don't need to deal with the lifelong complications. You don't need to risk death. You don't need to risk other people dying. Just be smart, be appropriate, thumbs up. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.